The PlayStation 5 has been out for a few years now, and in that time we've seen some incredible games that really show off what the hardware can do. From cinematic single-player adventures to open worlds in brutal action. This list covers the very best experiences you can play today. These aren't just good games. They're must-plays for anyone who owns the console. At number 10 is Control, developed by Remedy Entertainment. This is one of the most unique action-adventure games in recent years. You step into the role of Jesse Faden, who arrives at the Federal Bureau of Control, a secret government building that deals with paranormal activity. The twist is that the building itself is alive in a sense. Rooms shift, walls move, and the environment constantly plays tricks on you. Gameplay mixes third-person shooting with psychic powers. Jesse can levitate, throw objects at enemies with telekinesis, and combine gunplay with supernatural attacks. Combat feels fast, dynamic, and unpredictable. On PS5, the Ultimate Edition adds 2 key upgrades: Performance Mode, which gives you a smooth 60 FPS, and Graphics Mode with ray tracing that enhances reflections and lighting. Both options make the already surreal world look and feel even more immersive. The story is deliberately strange, full of cryptic files, odd characters, and supernatural mysteries. Remedy's style of blending live-action clicks with in-game events makes it stand out. If you want a game that pushes storytelling in weird directions while also delivering great action, Control deserves a spot in a library. At number 9 is Astro's Playroom. This might surprise some people, since it's a free game that comes pre-installed on the PS5, but it's one of the best showcases of the console. On the surface, it's a fun, colorful 3D platformer starring Astro, the little robot mascot. But what makes it special is how it shows off the DualSense controller. The haptic feedback and adaptive triggers are used in clever ways. Walking on sand feels different from walking on metal, pulling back a bowstring as resistance. And even the tiniest vibrations reflect what's happening in-game. It's not just a gimmick either, it adds real immersion. On top of that, the game is packed with PlayStation history. Each level is themed around a different PlayStation generation, and there are dozens of references to past consoles, games, and accessories. It's short, you can finish it in a few hours, but it's a joyful experience that feels like a celebration of PlayStation's legacy. For many players, it's the first game they try on PS5, and it sets the tone perfectly for what the console could deliver. Number 8 is Returnal. This is a third-person roguelike shooter that blends arcade-style combat with atmospheric sci-fi horror. You play as Celine, an astronaut who crash lands on the alien planet Atropos. The catch is that every time she dies, time resets, and she wakes up at the crash site again. The world changes with each cycle, so no 2 runs are exactly the same. Enemies spawn in different locations, levels are rearranged, and you constantly need to adapt. The combat is intense. Enemies throw waves of projectiles at you in bullet hell patterns, and you need to dodge, dash, and shoot with precision. On PS5, the game shines. The DualSense makes every weapon feel unique. Half pressing the trigger aims, while full press activates alternate fire. The haptic feedback even lets you feel raindrops as Celine walks through storms. Combined with the fast SSD, which makes respawns nearly instant, the gameplay loop is tight and addictive. Narratively, Returnal is layered with psychological horror elements. As Celine explores, she uncovers recordings of herself from previous cycles, hinting at a deeper mystery. The game constantly blurs the line between sci-fi and psychological thriller, making every run feel like part of a larger story. For players who enjoy challenging gameplay and atmospheric storytelling, Returnal is one of the most rewarding exclusives on PS5. At number 7 is Horizon Forbidden West. This sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn takes Aloy into new lands filled with lush jungles, deserts, mountains, and even underwater ruins. The graphical leap is huge. The detail in character models, environments, and machine designs is some of the best on the PS5. The game also runs in performance mode at 60 FPS, which makes combat smoother without losing much visual quality. Combat builds on the first game with new weapons, gadgets, and tactics. Machines have weak points you can target, parts you can knock off, and unique attack patterns that keep battles exciting. The addition of new traversal tools, like the glider and underwater breathing mask, makes exploration more dynamic and varied. The story continues Aloy's fight to stop a new threat tied to Earth's old technology. It dives deeper into the lore of the world while also building her relationships with allies. The voice acting, motion capture, and cutscenes are all cinematic, giving it the feel of a blockbuster movie. Horizon Forbidden West is one of those games where you can spend hours just exploring, taking photos, but getting lost in side quests. At number 6 is Resident Evil 4 Remake. The original Resident Evil 4 from 2005 changed the landscape of action games, and Capcom has rebuilt it completely from modern hardware. The story follows Leon Kennedy as he travels to rural Spain to rescue the president's daughter. What starts as a simple mission quickly escalates into a fight against parasitic creatures and a deadly cult. The remake keeps the essence of the original but updates everything. Controls are modern, aiming is precise, and the environments are darker and scarier. The village sequence at the start is just as tense as ever, but with new layers of atmosphere thanks to the PS5's lighting and 3D audio. The combat balances survival horror with action. Ammo is limited, so every shot counts, but you also have melee options and knife parries that add depth. Visually, the game looks stunning, with redesigned characters and environments that feel gritty and realistic. This remake not only respects the classic, but improves on it, making it one of the best Resident Evil experiences you can play today. At number 5 is Elden Ring. This game takes everything From Software is known for, challenging combat, deep lore, and atmospheric design, and places it in a massive open world. The lands between is enormous, with multiple regions, hidden dungeons, secret bosses, and environmental storytelling around every corner. Unlike Dark Souls, you're not limited to linear paths. You can ride your horse, torrent, to explore freely, and if one area feels too tough, you can head somewhere else. This freedom makes the difficulty more manageable, as you can grow stronger before facing harder bosses. The combat keeps the trademark Souls feel, precise dodging, stamina management, and punishing enemies. But there are also new systems like spirit summons, mounted combat, and an expanded magic system that add variety. Every boss fight feels unique, from towering dragons to grotesque monsters. On PS5, the game runs more smoothly, with faster load times and detailed environments that enhance the atmosphere. Elden Ring isn't just a difficult game. It's a rewarding adventure that constantly surprises you. It's one of the defining games of this generation. And number 4 is Marvel's Spider-Man 2. This game expands on the foundations of the first 2 titles by letting you control both Peter Parker and Miles Morales. Each character has their own abilities, and you can switch between them seamlessly during open-world gameplay. The web swinging feels faster and more fluid, with new traversal mechanics like web wings that let you glide through the city. Combat introduces new powers, including the symbiote abilities for Peter, which give him brutal, aggressive moves. Miles brings his electric venom powers, adding more variety. The story focuses on the relationship between Peter and Miles while introducing iconic villains like Kraven and Venom. It's a balance of personal stakes and superhero spectacle, with emotional moments woven into massive set pieces. Visually, New York City looks better than ever, with more detail, density, and atmosphere. The PS5's fast loading also means you can travel across the city almost instantly. It's a great example of how sequels should evolve a franchise. At number 3 is Cyberpunk 2077. When it launched in 2020, it was plagued with bugs and performance issues. But on PS5, after years of updates and patches, it has become a game that was meant to be. Night City is a sprawling urban sandbox filled with missions, side quests, and random encounters. You play as V, whose story can unfold in multiple ways depending on your choices. The freedom to approach missions through hacking, stealth, or direct combat makes gameplay flexible. The RPG systems allow for deep customization of cyberware, weapons, and abilities. The city itself feels alive, with bustling streets, neon lights, and unique districts that all have their own style. With the Phantom Liberty expansion, the story expands even further, adding one of the best narrative arcs in recent years. On PS5, the game runs at a steady performance with improved visuals, ray tracing, and almost instant loading. It's a complete transformation compared to its launch, and now it stands as one of the most impressive RPGs of the generation. At number 2 is Red Dead Redemption 2. Rockstar's masterpiece remains one of the most immersive open-world games ever created. You play as Arthur Morgan, a member of the Van der Linde gang, as the age of the outlaw comes to an end. The story is emotional, filled with themes of loyalty, morality, and survival. Arthur's journey is one of the best-written arcs in gaming, and the performances from the cast are top tier. The level of detail in the world is staggering. NPCs react to your actions, wildlife behaves naturally, and even small interactions feel handcrafted. Gameplay is a mix of shootouts, hunting, fishing, robberies, and exploration. You can spend hours doing side activities that feel just as fleshed out as the main missions. The pacing is slower compared to other open-world games, but that's what makes it feel authentic. It's a game that rewards patience and immersion. Even years later, it holds up as a technical and narrative masterpiece. And on PS5, it benefits from smoother performance and faster loading times. At number 1 is God of War, Ragnarok. This is the sequel to the 2018 reboot, and it builds on everything that made that game great. Kratos and Atreus return as they face the Norse apocalypse, fighting gods, monsters, in their own personal battles. The combat is refined with new weapons, abilities, and enemy types. Each encounter feels cinematic, blending brutal action with fluid gameplay. Boss fights are some of the most impressive on the PS5, both visually and mechanically. The story strikes a balance between mythological spectacle and personal drama. Kratos' relationship with Atreus continues to evolve, and the writing explores themes of fate, responsibility, and legacy. The performances are outstanding, bringing emotional weight to every cutscene. Visually, the game is stunning. Each realm is distinct, from icy landscapes to fiery underworlds, and the PS5's hardware brings them to life with sharp detail and smooth performance. It's the kind of game that defines a console generation. Those are the 10 best PS5 games available right now. Each one offers something unique, whether it's groundbreaking visuals, deep storytelling, or unforgettable gameplay. If you own a PS5, these are the experiences that truly showcase what the system is capable of.